Hi, Anushka.
Hello, ma'am.
Okay, so shall we begin the session? A very, very warm welcome to all of you. Today is going to be the last session of Excel. Hopefully, after this, with some more practice, you should be able to do a lot of automated tasks, also, is my assumption. So, to begin with, did you all try some pivots? Yeah, Anushka, did you get time to try some pivots?
Yes, ma'am.
Your voice is very low, Anushka. I think there's a problem with your headset.
Yes, ma'am. Is it audible?
Yes. क्या हो गया? खाना नहीं खाया क्या, अनुष्का?
नहीं मैम, पता नहीं हेडसेट का इश्यू होगा।
अच्छा.
वो रिकनेक्ट किया, ईयरफोन शायद अच्छे से प्रॉपर इंसर्ट नहीं था।
Now it's well. Now it's good. So could you try pivot charts?
यस मैम।
Any doubts there?
यस मैम।
There is some doubt you're saying.
यस मैम।
Okay. Tell me, what is your doubt?
Ma'am, how to solve the questions of condition using pivot? Can we solve it without using any formula?
You will have to add a formula.
Okay. I have to add the formula. So I have to add the formula in the main data. We can't add the formula in the pivot. Because I try to do that, I'm not able to do the same.
You will have to put the formula in the main data only.
Yeah. Because the condition-based question I can't solve without the formula. After something formula, then it's working with pivot.
Correct.
For example, for example, you have given a database question. I tried this question with pivot. So I'm doing that the rating question, performance rating 2018 and 2017. So I have tried a lot to do it without formula, but I was not able.
नहीं, without formula नहीं होगा.
At last I हाँ फिर उसमें फॉर्मूला लगा के मैंने किया यार.
हाँ. So in whatever
पहले
we do
उसमें
now
वो
going forward, you will have to use some formula, mix of pivot, formula and charts. That's what you'll be doing broadly.
मीन्स कि अगर हमारे पास पूरा डेटा है उसे हम समराइज करके सिर्फ पिवट से देख सकते हैं.
Correct.
क्विक एनालिसिस और रिव्यू कर सकते हैं फॉर उसके लिए, लेकिन फॉर्मूला भी इम्पोर्टेंट है पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से.
Yes. But you can do conditional formatting in pivot.
नो मैम, आई वाज नॉट एबल टू डू दैट. हालांकि ज्यादा ट्राई भी नहीं किया, लेकिन एक क्वेश्चन में
जैसे
किया
आप
था सेम
रेगुलर डेटा पे करते हो
रेटिंग
वैसे
वाली
ही
में ही.
कंडीशनल फॉर्मेटिंग पिवट पे कर पाओगे. Let me see if I have any example.
और मैम जैसे कल आपने जैसे यू हैव टुडे शोड मी एडिंग द रो वन कॉल मींस वन फॉर्मूला इनसाइड द कॉलम.
हाँ.
So is it possible that we will shall we add any data in the pivot data means
And
any extra column
you
or
can
row
yes, you can add calculated
without changing
without
the
changing the
original
basic data.
data.
Yes.
So, so if we have to calculate the tenure with company, I'm giving the example of your question that you have given us. So
Mhm.
if we have to calculate at the tenure with company, how do we calculate without using any formula by adding? And if we want to use any formula, I was
Mhm.
just want to use with the pivot. Is it possible?
To use a, sorry, just
Formula
speak the
with
last.
pivot. Actually, I just want to add a tenure in the pivot using pivot table.
Yeah, you can, no? With that calculated field that I showed you.
But it's take the sum, ma'am.
It will take any formula. You can do a minus also there. Okay, here is conditional formatting, which you were asking. 1 minute, let me just share this. Mm. Can you see my screen right now? Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So here what you're seeing, I have put a conditional formatting to color it green. I don't know if under manage rules you'll be able to see. Can you see the pop-up?
Yes, ma'am.
So like that, once you've drawn the pivot on this, you can put conditional formatting, like you put in cells. Okay? But I want you to try, Anushka. This is not very complex. This is very easy, fairly easy.
Okay.
Okay, what's the other doubt that somebody has? Atulya, anything that you have? No, you have not practiced much.
No, ma'am. I actually didn't get any time. I will do it in a weekend.
I'm
I was
trying to.
busy with. I was busy
Okay,
in some official work these
okay,
days.
fine. Fine. Sakshi, what about you? Sakshi, any doubts?
Hello, ma'am. The pie chart and that question is not able to get it actually. I've uh,
You have not tried it enough.
no, I am not able to do it. I tried it in last class as well, but we didn't take it up. So
Okay, that I'll take up with you separately because that doesn't interest anybody else. No, here. Okay, anything else in pivot that you have a doubt?
pivot, no, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, ma'am. Ma'am, for that, can I share my screen once?
Yeah, yeah, sure. Oh, Anushka has done it? Rashi, any doubt that you have? Rashi was here, right? We lost her. Yeah.
Visible, ma'am, screen?
Yeah.
Okay, so basically I want to ask ki I have done this ki rating I have taken from this one, like the sum of the performance rating here for the 2018 and 2017 here.
Why would
But
you
I
take
want
some
that,
off?
but it's not, I don't know. I saw the sum of actually I haven't take the sum of. That's the basically problem I got.
Put a
I
right
just
click on the
did
value
here
field
the
settings.
answer.
But this is at what level? No, your data is at what
Simply, I
level?
just want to show the rating. Sorry, ma'am.
You just want to show the rating. You don't need a pivot then, no? If it is at employee code level, why do you?
Basically, I want that using pivot, I want that the greater rating between these to be shown here. This column I have added by my own using, I think,
This is a calculated field that you've added.
yeah, calculation right now.
Yeah, now you can put conditional
But it
formatting.
gives the sum, but how do we count? Sorry.
How do we? No, here some won't make a difference,
How
no,
do
because
we do the count?
it is at employee code level, right? So if you see the first employee code 45631, go to your database. Go to your database, yeah. Or don't go to your database also, just do a double click on this row. Sorry. Go back to the pivot. Go back to the pivot chart. Please start naming your worksheets well, otherwise this is
Any
the
of the
problem.
pivot chart can I?
No, you'll have to go to that one, no, which had employee code. It was sheet 13, I think. So as a practice, please name your sheets, okay? Otherwise you'll always get lost.
Yes, ma'am.
Do a double click on this. And it will show you only one record. You got it? Because for each employee, there is only one performance rating. So it cannot do a sum also. So even though it is a sum, it's of no use. Okay, now go back to your pivot. This is what you should do in case you have a doubt that what is it doing. Okay, now you want to do difference of rating, which is the formula that you have done, I think. Put your cursor there.
Yes, ma'am, but I want that it simply shows the higher ones, means which is better, it's so true or false like that. Without using formula, is it possible?
No, for that you will have to use conditional formatting and you can put whatever you want, no?
Okay.
Here you can use conditional formatting. You can change colors. Wherever it is positive, you can make it green. Negative, you can make it red. All that you can do. Okay. Good, but you have tried. Yeah, here. See, greater than you can change colors. So this is as simple as doing what you were doing in your cells. You can put greater than 0 and fill it with a green, no, not with red, right? And then you can copy this conditional formatting down. Okay. Okay, do we have Rashi back? Yeah, Rashi, any doubts in pivots?
No, ma'am.
Okay,
Apart from pivots, I wanted to ask two questions.
please ask. And then I begin my class because otherwise I'll not be able to cover what I want to cover. Yes, tell me.
Yeah. Ma'am, who's sharing the screen? Because today I'm not on laptop for some reason.
This is Anushka.
Anushka, can you write A and C in two different cell, please?
Sure.
Give me
A
question.
and
A and C.
like this.
Yes, and come down. Ma'am, is there any formula that we can combine these two?
Yes, concatenate
Concatenate.
Okay.
is equal to concatenate. You will have to put cell value is F6, comma G6 or whatever
Okay,
the cell is.
it will show AC.
Yes.
Oh, all right, ma'am.
So if you have first name, second name, you can concatenate.
All right, all right. And second doubt was,
Ah.
while using filters,
Ah.
can we use filters here in this pivot table?
Same question.
No.
Yeah.
You can use after copy
Hello.
pasting it, but ideally you should not.
Okay, Anushka, can you please copy paste these values or go to a sheet where some values are there?
So we want up some values in other sheet.
She just wants some data, Anushka. Or
Yes.
you can stop your share and I can do that. Yeah, just put some data here.
Okay, ma'am, I do have one question. Can I?
Yeah, yeah,
So I can stop myself.
yeah.
Basically, if I want to do the
Condition.
filter here, such as that. Yeah, it should give me only the colored cells. So is it possible in pivot?
I think it should be. You can put a slicer on top of this, no? Just try that, Anushka. I've not done that before, but you
Yes,
can
ma'am.
try it.
I also wanted to ask this filter related
But
question.
actually, what you can do is put the sum of final rating in the filter also, no? Right now.
Yes, sir,
This
but it does not have much filter, ma'am, here.
No. Put the sum of final rating in your filters field
It will not go.
on the right side.
No, it will not go. I tried it. Like this. It will not go.
Because it is a calculated field.
Hmm.
1 minute.
Right. Okay. Can I stop sharing so that for the people?
Yeah, you can stop sharing. But what you guys are asking, you will never tend to do. Because ideally, you make a pivot so that you have a summary of data. Right? If you have to do a simple filter and a simple formula like Anushka was doing right now, you don't need to use a pivot at all. All those activities can be done in a plain Excel sheet, right? Anushka, that's for you. And using conditional formatting, you can
Yes,
actually
ma'am.
filter it
Yes,
on the
ma'am,
colors
yes, ma'am.
also. So in those cases, you will not use a pivot at all. All right. Was this the same question that Rashi was also asking, right?
No, ma'am.
Hanji,
And
bolo.
ma'am, I have used a higher date. One more question.
Haan. You
I
have
have
used
used
higher.
the higher date and it's actually shown. It's actually shown the pivot table actually by the month. I don't know how.
That's a format cell it has done on its own.
It shows
Just
by
cell
month.
format.
Then I have used the timeline.
With the timeline, it will show by month. It will give you the options, which is what we
No,
discussed.
without timeline. Without timeline.
Without timeline,
Without timeline, it shows by
format
month.
cells.
Okay.
You
Okay,
try
ma'am.
copying that data on a fresh sheet, then it will not. Okay.
Okay. Okay, ma'am.
Yeah, Rashi, what was your question? Before I forget.
Ma'am, I just need some data.
So Rashi needs some data. Wait. I should get data. I'll use the data file. Database pivot. Okay. Yes, here is data. You can see it now.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Now.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me.
Ma'am, if you want to put a filter, uh, and we just want to know कि जैसे इसमें बहुत सारा डेटा है डिस्टेंस फ्रॉम होम में एंड वी जस्ट वांट टू नो कि जिसका डिस्टेंस 10 या अबव है तो फिर वो कैसे फिल्टर करते हैं मैम?
अरे यहाँ पे ऑप्शन होता है ग्रेटर
VLOOKUP
देन
के
लेस
थ्रू।
नहीं फिल्टर में ऑप्शन है ग्रेटर देन
नहीं, उसने ये पूछा ना कि उसे पहले कैसे कैटेगराइज करते हैं, आई थिंक।
नहीं,
इज दिस योर क्वेश्चन राशि?
यस, जो भी ग्रेटर देन 5 है यहाँ पे है।
हाँ, डन।
और जैसे मैम अगर मार्क्स होंगे और हम लिखें, हमें चाहिए कि अबव 60 किसके हैं, तो हम ग्रेटर देन 60 लिखेंगे सिर्फ।
Yes, greater than equal to, greater than, between also you can use.
Okay.
You can say people who have got greater than 35 but less than 50.
Okay, ma'am.
राशि और प्रैक्टिस चाहिए, बहुत कुछ है एक्सेल में.
Yes, ma'am. It was actually an interview question, and this one too was. I was
This is
thinking.
the simplest. I don't think I even told you this
I
because
know,
I thought
ma'am.
everyone.
Then I forgot.
So filter gives you ascending, descending. Okay.
Everything. Okay, ma'am.
It gives you conditions. It gives you by color. So like if you have done conditional formatting, you can choose the color also. It will allow you to do that. And you can choose any values greater than, top 10, bottom 10, above average, below average. Can you see?
Yes, ma'am.
So a lot of options that filter alone gives you. That's why I said a lot of times you will not go to pivot also. If you don't want to summarize or do anything, why will you do it? Filter ही सब कुछ कर देगा, right? That's why I said अगर color पे filter करना है, you will straight away do a conditional formatting here and then do a filter by that color. You don't need to draw a pivot, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, let's now move on to where is what I wanted to do. Yes, so the first thing I had to cover was freeze panes. Freeze panes, has anybody used? Atulya, I think.
Ma'am.
Yes.
So everybody
Yes,
knows
ma'am.
about it?
Yes, ma'am.
Anushka?
Yes, ma'am.
Sakshi? So I'm not telling them.
Yes, ma'am.
Sakshi? Okay. So freeze rows you know and freeze columns you know. Then let's
Yes,
move.
ma'am.
Yeah, we'll move to what are Excel tables. Does anybody know what are Excel tables? To get data for that. Just give me a minute. I'll just pull up some data for Excel tables. Using this data. राशि ये वाला इंटरव्यू कब दिया था अभी क्या?
Yes, ma'am. VLOOKUP में भी गड़बड़ कर दिया था, इसमें भी.
क्यों? VLOOKUP तो आपने प्रैक्टिस भी किया है मेरे साथ.
VLOOKUP आता था, उसने बोला कि मैंने पूछा कि वैल्यू पुट नहीं हो रहा था, तो मैंने पूछा कैन यू प्लीज शो वेयर आई एम गोइंग रॉन्ग. कहता आपने फॉर्मूला एकदम सही डाला है, यू जस्ट मिस्ड आउट क्लिकिंग हियर. आई वाज लाइक ओ गॉड, इट वाज सो सिली मिस्टेक.
VLOOKUP, you shouldn't have made a mistake. I'm only feeling sad because I think we have spent a good amount of
I was
time
so
on VLOOKUP.
confident in VLOOKUP and I just missed that step out of nervousness.
Not done.
राशि, if you don't mind, किस चीज की इंटरव्यू थी वो?
ये HR के HR recruiter.
अच्छा, recruiter in Bangalore.
No, in Delhi only.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
So these are simple things that will be expected out of you. And the only solution here, Rashi, and to all of you is please practice. मेरी dashboard की worksheet ही नहीं दिख रही है. Are you all able to see a dashboard worksheet? Workbook? No.
Ma'am's screen is not shown.
Just give me a minute. I think I need to close something. Yes, can you all see a some data points on my sheet which has zone-wise data?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what we're going to do now is, this is, actually let me make it not fill data so that looks like data. Okay, this is how this data is. Okay, this is about a product, a telecom product. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to make oops. So this is how you create an Excel table. You go to insert and you have the option of table there. That's what I've clicked. Whenever you click that, so for example, if I'm on this cell and I say table, it will try to automatically pick up the data. Okay. It's better actually if you can select and do the table. Then I'm saying my table has headers because it has the headings. Okay. This is how an Excel table is. Now, what are the advantages of having an Excel table? So when you have an Excel table, one is it does an auto formatting, which you can see, right? If I add a new row here, for example, I say a new zone, it will automatically put it in that format. All right. What it also does is, for example, if I add a new column, which is say DSO divided by total retailers, it adds the column also on its own. And if I want to put a formula, which is this divided by this, Excel on its own understands that this is a new column which I would want for the full table, so it will add the values for the full table. So you don't need to even drag drop your formula. Okay. The other big advantage is if I have used an Excel table and if I have created a pivot, it will auto update. Or if I've created a chart, it will auto update. Okay. So whenever you create a pivot table or a pivot chart, and this is my personal experience, what you can do is first make all your data into an Excel table and then use it. So that a lot of this inbuilt automation is done for you. It also allows you under table to change the format of this table in a lot of different ways. So that becomes presentable. Okay. It also allows you to say remove the header column, header row, add the header row. You can highlight the first column. You can put a total row. Okay, so it allows you to do a lot of design stuff on the table. You can make banded columns. It'll put bands around your columns. Okay. It also allows you to insert a slicer. So I can insert a slicer again on zone in this. Then I can say, just show me Bangalore East data. Okay. Of course, you have slicer settings where you can change not just the color and all, but you can decide whether you want your data as ascending, descending. Okay. Yes. Then you also can summarize with the pivot table here. You can directly use remove duplicates for your table and remove duplicates from any of the columns you want at one shot, right? That's broadly about Excel tables. So ideally, whenever you're making any Excel pivot, it'll be good if you can make a Excel table first and then make the pivot. All right. Okay, the next thing we'll see is spark lines. So should get data for spark lines. Is my data visible? Now, if I have, or let's try this. Let's make a pivot with manager name and employee code. No, this will not work. I can put count of employees, right? Should I put count or sum? This data you all know. This data you all know, right? We did a lot of practice on this data, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So
And
what I'm
when
trying,
it is unique value, it does not do the sum.
okay, now if I
Although
want,
it says return the sum of the column, but it is not the sum, ma'am.
where? I have taken right now count of employee code because
No, No. I am telling you if there is a unique value, then not the sum, but although the header of the column should be
Yeah,
the
yeah.
sum of X.
True, true, true.
Ma'am, just a question regarding this pivot table. It
Yes,
shows that Amar has 23 employees under him.
right,
That's right. Okay.
right. That's why I did count, because I cannot add the employee codes. That will not have a meaning. Okay, and I can put salary and salary. What should I do? I'll take average salary. So this will be the average salary of Amar's employees. Okay. Yeah, this should be workable, I think. So now what I'll do is I will try and insert a sparkline. Let's do it as a line. Select a data range for sparklines. Select where to place the sparkline. Okay. Okay, so anything that you all are able to understand? Of course, I can change the format of these sparklines. Color, I can put markers. So right now I've taken it with only two values, 17 and 18 salary. I can have multiple values here also. And let me do that. I don't have that data, but I'll just try and there was only 2 years data here, right? Yeah. Oh, I just missed telling you. So what this is giving me right now is a sparkline is basically it draws a graph in this small cell. So if you can see this first cell here, let me show the multiple data piece to you in another sheet. If you can see this graph here, it's basically showing you the graph for these two values. So for Amar, who has 23 employees, there has been an increase in average salary from 1,13,000 to 1,18,000. That's what it means. Okay. Sparklines are used to get a visual clue of what's happened. So this currently is showing you for everybody salary has increased. But in some cases, it could be a drop also. You could also have 4 data points here. That's what I was trying to do. So you could have average salary 19, 20, 21 maybe. Then you can see how are employees in Amar's under the manager Amar performing, or how is the salary trend of employees under Amar. So Sparkline is basically used more in dashboards or in things where you need a visualization, where you can make a sort of a small graph within a cell. So it's like a chart you're drawing inside a cell. And here also it allows you to, if you go to Sparkline, it allows you to change the types and all here. Can you see that? So you can decide to highlight first point, last point. Okay. You can decide the color of Sparkline, marker color. And you can also decide, do you want it as columns or line, whichever format. Okay. Okay, just one more thing on we discussed this. Yeah, on Excel tables. Yeah, so here if you see, can you see this formula in Zoom? So when Excel makes it a table, each column, each cell is now, so this cell that I want to use is not 2506. It's not numbered as D3, but it will be called as DSOs bracket greater than 175. So if it is in the same row, it will just call it by the name of that column and divided by it saying total retailers. If you see the next cell, again the name is just the column name. Are you all able to see that?
Yes, ma'am, but what is this 175 greater, ma'am? Where it is?
That's the name of my column if you see here.
Okay, yeah.
So it's just picked up the name of the column. So for cell values, it has named them by a name of a column. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It's no more referring it to as D3, right? Okay. So that is Sparklines and Excel table. Now let's move to scroll bars. So let me take you here. Yes, well, let me show. I think I show you from what I have already, which will save us little time. Okay, so in Excel, you can also add in elements like this scroll bar you can see here. Is the screen visible to you all?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now let me just show you what
Ma'am,
you
how
do.
you have added this?
Yeah, so I'll just teach you that. So I've just got this data. This is Census 2001 data, which has state-wise area in square and population. Okay. You go to the developer tab here, and these are the elements that you can add. Okay. So this is where your scroll bar is. What I'll do is I've dropped the scroll bar here. Okay. You can keep it horizontal also. There is no harm in that. All right. Now what I'm doing is let me show it to you here only in order to save time. What I've done is not to fix the value, to keep the value as a relative reference. I've picked up any cell and put in a value of 1. Then you go to the scroll bar. Okay, you have a format control. This is where you can format the control of the scroll bar. Okay. In format control, so what I'm trying to do is, as an objective, I'm trying to put a scroll bar which shows only 10 values at a time. Okay. So in format control, what I have done is I'll put my current value as 1. Okay. Let me just. My current value is 1. I'll start from a minimum of 1. I have here total 28 values, right? So if I want to show only 10 values, the maximum value will be 10 minus 28 you can take. So 19th value. Okay. Incremental change I want as 1, and anytime for a page change I want 10 values. And then I'm linking this to this cell value. All right. Instead of putting a fixed value of 1, I'm linking it to 1, to this cell, particular cell. Okay. Once I do that, or let me do it for you here so that you understand more. I think that will be better. Yeah. So I'll put my current value 1, 1. This will be 28 minus 10. I can put it as 18. Yeah. Actually, it will be the 19th value. Incremental change 1, page change 1, and cell link of. Okay. Once I've done that, what I'll do is I'll copy the headers here. Okay. And here I'll use a function called offset. Okay. Now what does offset do? We studied it very briefly earlier. For offset, if I give it a reference of this and I say 0 row, 0 column, what will it show me? Offset will basically pick the value from the referenced value, whatever row and column I give. So this will give me state here. Okay. If I tell it to pick 1, 0, it will give me the first state. So it is offsetting from this cell to 1 row, 0 column. If I put 2, what will it give me? Next state. Is this clear? So here in this case, I will use 1, 0. Is this clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, what will be the third value for?
Sorry, the first value
What?
is your reference.
Second
Okay.
is for?
Second is your row number. So if you put the formula offset, if you see here, reference cell. So my reference cell I'm taking as this. Then I'm putting my row number and column number. So from this reference, how much row it has to go and how much column, that's what it is. So I'm saying from this row, now row number, I'll give it, or before that, let me show you this, sorry. So in your current scroll bar, can you see as I'm clicking it, this number is changing? Is this visible? Yeah. Can you see how my number is changing on every click of the scroll bar? Okay. So it will go from 1 to 19. That is what I have set it to. Right? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give the formula offset, tell it to take this as reference and put my row number as this, column I'll put as 0. I will only fix my reference because I want to always use from here. Okay. Now if I drag this formula, sorry, there is some. You can see here, right? It is changing, right? My state. Correct? Use this, grad this because this I want to keep as fixed. So now I'm at the first state. Now I'll copy this here and this should show me offset of, yeah, so it's showing me Andhra Pradesh data. And now if I copy it down, show me all the data and now I can scroll it. Can you see how your scroller is moving? So what I've done is first I made any cell on the sheet. This you can actually hide it because it's not required for the user. This is more a ticker which I made so that I can see what I'm putting in is correct or not. That's the objective. Okay. I went to the scroll bar. I went to format control. I fixed the control. So I started from a current value of 1. I put minimum value 1 and I put maximum value as 19. You can put it as 18 also, it won't matter. Incremental change I've put on every click, it should do a change of 1. Okay. And page change should be 10. And then I've linked cell link, I've given it to the cell that where I'm putting the values. All right. Once I've done that, then I'm using the offset formula. So I'm saying offset from a reference cell. I've picked up the heading reference cell and then telling it use the row number from whatever is here in this cell. So whatever click I've done on the scroll bar is what it will pick and column is 0. Right? I'm fixing this cell because I don't want to move the values. The row number has to be always this. All right. And then as and when I'm scrolling, because the row number is changing, it's showing up the 10. Okay. Okay, what do we need to do next? Sparkles and scroll bars. Okay. Now these are elements that of course you will have to practice and you can use it in your dashboards. So let's take a 5-10 minute break maybe. We are at 9 o'clock. 9:10 we'll be back and then we will start with dashboards. All right. Any doubts so far? It's not difficult. Trust me, when you do it on your own, it'll be easy. But you'll have to practice. It looks very fancy that a scroll bar you can control. And these are advanced tools, so you will have to practice more. If VLOOKUP you're forgetting, then this needs a lot more practice. All right. So let's take a 10-minute break and let's be back by 9:10. Is that okay?
Okay.
Yes,
Don't you be afraid, I have loved you for the time. Maybe for a thousand time, beauty and she is not a queen away. How can I can't even count all of me and
Okay, so is everybody back? Atulya, what are you singing? It's got recorded anyways. Atulya, can you hear me?
Hello.
Yeah, can you hear
Hello.
me, Atulya?
Yes, ma'am, I can.
I'm saying whatever you were singing has got recorded in this session.
Nothing, just my cousins were here.
Oh, okay. Okay. So is this clear until here, whatever we have discussed?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you remember slicers we had done earlier? Slicer? Or before that, let me just show you a brief overview of macros. Has anybody used macros? Have you heard the term?
Yes, ma'am.
What is a macro? Rashi bol rahi hai. I'm glad, Rashi.
Yes, ma'am. I've heard of it, but never used it. And I've seen it being used.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Atulya, Anushka, Sakshi, anybody else who's heard macros?
Yes, ma'am. I have heard a little about it. Just
Okay.
used for mailing, I think.
For?
To like attach something in the mail, sort of thing. I
Yes,
don't know
yes. So a
what
macro
exactly it
is
is.
basically what it does is if there is any task which you have to repeatedly do, you can record a macro to automate that. Okay. And then actually in Microsoft Windows, you used to have a scheduler. I'm not sure how does it work now, but there used to be a scheduler with which you could automatically run the macro also at a given time. But otherwise you can always run macros. Okay. So we'll not be going too much into detail of macros because that requires VB coding. But whatever is easily available is what I'll teach you, which can help you automate your tasks. Okay, so let me take you to an Excel sheet. Yeah, maybe we could start from here. So here under, you all are able to see my screen? Under
Yes,
the
ma'am.
developer tab, you have Visual Basic and macros. Visual Basic basically takes you to the Visual Basic editor. Okay, and for this you need coding. We will not be covering this right now. Macros, if you click, it asks you for name of macro and it tells you in which workbook. Okay, to show you all the workbooks. Now there's an option to record macro, if you can see. And below it, you also have use relative references. So if you select this, it gets enabled. If you deselect it, it gets disabled. Now, what does this mean? So let's see this. Now, for example, I record a macro. Okay. And I'll say my first macro. Okay. sorry, let me do this. Let me take a new sheet for this, call it macros. Yes, so what I'll do is I'll record a macro. I'm calling it as my first macro. Okay, that's the name. I can give it a short key also. For you, it will be in Windows Control plus Shift or something. In Mac, it is Option plus CMD. So I'm putting Option plus CMD plus A. This is a short key for running this macro. Okay, and I press OK. Okay, so let me put T. Okay. Now it's going to record whatever action I take in Excel. So for example, I write Parul Saxena. Okay. I've written my name and I do stop recording. It has recorded this macro. Now if I go to macros, I will find this macro, my first macro here, and I can run the macro. So did you see what did it do? Whatever action I'd taken, it has just gone and done that again. So if there's any repeated task of formatting, or you're getting a file, opening it from somewhere and using that data, all that can be automated using this kind of a macro. Now for you to understand what is relative reference, so this we did was it wrote the name wherever I had put it the first time, right? Now if I record, I use relative references, okay, and I record a macro, and this is my first relative reference macro. Now if I write, let me just write it here only, okay, and I'm stop recording, okay. Now I'll remove this. This time I'll go to this cell and I'll do my relative reference macro. So did you see what it did? It didn't write it here. It took the relative reference of the cell from where my cursor was when I recorded the macro. Because it was at this position, it put the name here. I hope that's clear, absolute and relative reference. Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I don't need to explain it again. Yeah, so this is how you're going to use macros. You can record any action. So it can be that I write my name, or 1 minute, you can put formulas also. So it can be 10, 20, and I can do 10 plus 20. Okay. So I can do a record macro, do all these tasks, and then remove it and put it, go to another sheet and do it also. Like we can go to another sheet here and I can use this macro. It's used some relative references, so it got lost if you saw. All right. Similarly, if I'm here and I go to macros and I use relative reference macro, this is what it will do. Okay. So is recording of macro clear? Okay, so with that, let's move to now. What else is left? 1 second. Yeah, so now what we're going to do is about dashboards. Now, what is a dashboard? What is a dashboard and what is a report?
Ma'am, a dashboard means just a visual representation of data.
Okay, good. So it has
And
to be
report,
visually appealing also.
yes, and report is just like in like Excel format or something.
Okay. So you cannot have a dashboard in Excel format. I hope you're not saying that.
No, I didn't means in like only most of the time in worksheet
Yeah. So a direct form of data itself in a
data.
summarized fashion can be a report. Anybody else has any inputs, any thoughts on what is a dashboard? Have you heard about dashboards?
It may take a multiple data from means data from the multiple source and uh, can gather at one place.
Yes, so a dashboard, good point. It picks up data from multiple sources and it collates it and puts it in one place. But that's what report also does to a great extent. So a report basically will collect and show data in a single place only. For example, if a manager wants to know how the sales have grown over the last period and which region was the most profitable, a report will not be able to answer it. From the reports, you will have to create a dashboard. Okay. So dashboard is like a one pager that you have. It's basically more crisp in terms of data. It helps your manager, business leaders, or head of companies, etc., to track KPIs, metrics, or make a decision out of it. Dashboards can contain charts, it can contain tables, it can contain views, any of these. Okay. You can make a dashboard out of multiple reports. All right. Now, how do you go about creating a dashboard? So, reports you will understand. Whatever in Pivot you have been doing is more like creating reports. All the questions that I had given to you in the database file was actually creating different kinds of reports. Okay. Now, if you have to create a dashboard, it's very important that you're clear of what the objective is. All right. Why is that? Because if you're creating a dashboard, then you will accordingly have your filters, slicers, charts, and all your data points. And if you don't have a clear objectives, a lot of people actually what they do is they work on the dashboard as and when data is asked. So then you'll always have to keep editing your dashboard. You'll have to keep reworking on that dashboard because constantly there will be new ask, right? So what you should do ideally is the first thing you should do is as soon as you get the data, you should understand what is it that your stakeholder is looking for. Now it can be to track KPIs at one time, or is it on a regular basis that they need it? What kind of cuts do they want? They want the full company KPIs, they want department wise KPIs, they want region wise KPIs. So you should ask all these questions before you design the dashboard. Okay, so that you know what are the kind of data that you will need. Then you'll obviously have to get the data sources. So a lot of times your data sources will be maybe Excel files, maybe some other databases also from where you might have to copy paste into Excel files. It can be comma separated files. Sometimes it is PDF files also. Maybe you'll have to manually pick up data also, right? So you should know what are your data sources. And one very important thing in dashboards is you should be clear of who is going to use that dashboard. For example, if there is a call center dashboard and it is being used by call center agents or by the head of the company, why is that important? Why is it important to know who is going to use your dashboard? Has everybody slept off or you're thinking?
No, ma'am, we are here.
See, in this mode of conversation that we are doing, I cannot see your faces, so I don't know if you're there also or sleeping. So you need to
No, ma'am,
unmute.
we are. We are not.
Okay, so why do you think you need
It
to
may
know
be for the good
for the?
presentation, means ki what a good
Yes, absolutely.
presentation.
Then you will know what you can show relevant, right? And if,
Right.
for example, if you're making the dashboard for the CEO of a company versus one department head, your data points will be different. What interests the CEO will not be the same as what interests a manager, right?
Yes.
So you should know who's the audience for your dashboard. It is also important that you know what version of Excel they have, because a lot of times some things in Excel will not work on a higher version or a lower version. Right? Now, once you know all these things, then you should actually draw an outline structure of the dashboard, which means what? You'll have to decide what will you place where, which charts. Will you have a scroll bar? Will you have a chart? Will you have tabular data? Do you want to put column charts? Do you want to put line charts? That you can do as the next step then. Okay. Once you've created a structure outline, which is that which data will you put where? And will you put in chart format or text format or as table? That is, after that is when you will start getting into your Excel part. Now, in this case, whenever you make a dashboard, you should ideally divide your Excel into 3 parts. One will be your data part. The second part you should try and keep separate is your calculations part. This is where you will do your calculations or where you'll have most of your formula. Right? And the third one will be,
Able to see your screen.
I'm not sharing any screen.
Okay.
I'm just talking to you. Okay. I will show you the screen now. Okay. So yeah, you should be able to divide your dashboard into 3 parts, which will be what? One will be your data, which will be the raw data that you have. 2 will be wherever you have done any kind of working or calculation. And the third will be where you will be making the dashboards. So is dashboard at least broadly clear to you? What is it that I'm talking about? Now we'll go into making some dashboards. Now let me just share with you. Are you all able to see my screen now, Rashi?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So this is already done up dashboard. I'll just briefly take you through. And what we'll do is I'll leave this database file with some questions with which you will make a dashboard for yourself. Okay. Now this is a dashboard for a call center. And this is the data that we have. So if you see, the first thing that's been done is this data has been put in an Excel table. Right? And this has like around so if you see here, if I add a new record, it gets added in the table. Can you see? Another record, it will get added in the table. Right? Okay, so this is my data sheet which I have got, which I have only converted into an Excel table. What it has is call ID, date, agent, department, answered yes or no, Received yes or no, speed of answer, average talk duration, satisfaction rating. And that's like a column which has been adding. Okay. The next sheet you will have, so each dashboard should have these three sections. You should have a data section, a calculation section. Okay. And right now I'll not get into the detail of calculation, but I'll show you the dashboard, which is what I intend to do. So this is how this dashboard looks like. Now, what are the elements that we have used? We've used the scroll bar. We have used this chart type, which I'd asked you all to try. Right? This is a simple column chart. This is text, which I had asked you to, which is going to change depending on values, which you will be able to make now. And this is a combo chart, which has bars and a line. This is what we studied today. Does anybody recall what are these? What is this element?
Sparkline.
Spark lines. So what sparkline is giving me for each agent is it is giving me the 2 data points in a line format. Okay, now before I proceed any further, so let me go to,
Excuse me, ma'am.
yes, Anushka.
Ma'am, how any can understood by viewing my sparkline, because I
Sorry?
understood what I have taken. How anyone can understand by the sparkline?
It has a header, no? It shows what points it is covering. You will put a header, right? If I had drawn a sparkline for, if you remember, average salary of 2018 and 2019. So I'll say this is average salary movement, right? As the header for my sparkline, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
So that header will speak of
Okay, sir.
for the now let me show you another moment. So here if you see this can actually not be called a dashboard, but it should be called a report. And why am I saying that? Because one, it does not have too many
Have a-
visual elements.
It does not have a graphical representation.
Yes, it doesn't have too many visual elements is what I'm saying. It doesn't have a chart or a graphical element there. Right? So this is more a report. Okay. Let me just check. But you can insert a sparkline here also. So I can have a sparkline of these 2 data points maybe. Then I can drag it off. So can you see here this sparkline which I have drawn? In some cases, there is growth. In some cases, there is degrowth, like in this case, in this cell. And that's how it becomes useful. Because even without reading numbers, this cell is showing you a degrowth while others are growing from one number to another. So sparklines are important when you're looking for, say, data at a person level, maybe at a DSC level or a salesperson level. For example, this is salesperson level data. Okay. Now, if this was, say, sales in Jan and this was sales in Feb, you don't even need to look at numbers. If this is sales movement from Jan to Feb. So this is actually telling you sales has grown in all these cases, but for this person, sales have dropped. For Abhishek. Are you getting that? Anushka, your question. So when you
Yes,
use
ma'am.
Spark Lines, it visually helps you to identify the problem very quickly. At times, doing a subtraction and then understanding values is difficult. That's why in dashboards you use this. Okay. Now let me take you to a dashboard. Yeah, so all of you have got laptop or Rashi has not bought, you said?
Yes, ma'am.
Anushka?
I am with laptop now. I am logging
And
with laptop.
okay, and Atulya and Sakshi both have laptops?
I'm on laptop.
Okay. Sakshi?
I'm using my laptop side by ma'am. I'm
All
working on
right,
that.
great. So what I want you to do is, in your database file only, I want you all to create a dashboard. And this I want you to do on your own because dashboard will use elements which we have already learned. Okay. So I want you to do a manager-wise dashboard on different parameters with a department-wise filtering. So if you see in your data, I had put a manager code, right? And against each manager code, I think I would have put manager names. Yes, here they are. Right? So now I want you to create a dashboard which will give me data manager wise and will also have a department wise filter. So let's do this. First, let's understand what will we put in this. So the first step I said was to create a structure for your dashboard, right? So let's understand what should be the structure for your dashboard. So I'm saying manager wise data with a department filter. And a dashboard requires you to think because it's not like a question answer. And this is data you're giving to your head of organization. The dashboard you're creating is for the head of your organization. Yes. So how should we go about it? So first of all, you need to understand where is the data source. So your data is here. This is all your data. Right? So what are the things you can see for the manager here? I have already put a VLOOKUP here, which is looking up for the manager name and putting it against each row. So that makes it easier for me to do the dashboard. So this is one step which you will have to do in the data only. Yes, so what are the things that I can look for here? And you all have this data. Yes, I want you to think, otherwise there's no point. I'll show you a dashboard, it's done up and it's over. Class gets over. That's not the objective,
Manager
right?
code.
Manager code you will need in your dashboard?
We can just use
Ma'am, we
department
have to.
in 3 parts: sales, research and department, and
What
then
should I do? I should
use
use
a pie chart.
departments.
Yeah, departments, and and use a pie chart to distribute how many numbers of managers are there in there, like percentage wise.
Okay.
Pie chart
Okay.
could be useful.
Okay. Then
Can we use their last promotion? It's given that-
Manager, how many employees?
Ma'am, can you just
manager has?
repeat the question once again, because in the questions we don't have that. If I could just.
wait, I'll just put up this sheet in your share. Give me a minute. So that you all have this. Just give me a minute. Yeah, just check. I've updated your sheet. Database underscore pivot. So what I want you all to do is you will do these 3 questions which I have put under the questions sheet as part of your dashboard. So you'll have to design a dashboard. Can you see my screen now? You'll have to design a dashboard which will basically be at a manager level, and it will have a department filter, or you can put a slicer or whatever, and have various parameters for the manager with respect to number of employees. Maybe you can take promotions in some fashion, you can take gender in some fashion, right? What is it that you would want to see for a good manager? What do you think the CEO would be interested in seeing?
Profits of
Updation of
company
each and
or
every employee.
At a manager level.
Updation of each and every employee under managers.
Updation means
performance, I
Means
think.
all the
Their
performance, all
performance.
the
performance,
Yes,
things
yes,
that the
Atulya.
employer are doing to be.
the
Yes, so
promotions
maybe
that
it
they
will be
have got,
interesting to know how is the performance rating under each manager.
that the promotion that they have received previously.
How many promotions have they received? How much is the tenure of the employees under the manager?
Yes. How many
These are
riding
important
books are
parameters.
there?
How many are males and females? Isn't it? These will all be important things to understand how is the manager performing. So this is basically a manager performance dashboard, you can say. Okay, that's what you'll be trying to create. So you can take things like tenure of employees, gender, performance rating. Is there anything else that we have in the data? Months with the current manager you have, which is one important KPI that will be there. Or you can take employee satisfaction scores, right? The average employee satisfaction scores under each manager. You can take bonus also. Risk of attrition. Important parameter, right? Which manager has more people with high risk of attrition? You could
Number of
also check,
promotions we use.
yes, you could take number of promotions. You could also check which manager has older employees and which has younger employees. If you could do a banding of age in some fashion. Performance rating improvement from 17 to 18.
Revenue generation. No, we don't. have
Revenue
that.
here is not there. Salary increase you can take. Isn't it? Yes, so how will we design this dashboard now? I actually want you all to design and tell me how will it look. Can all of you all do it on your laptop? You can make the design in a PowerPoint also. It's more like a broad structure of what will you put where. If you understand that, then you will be able to get the data. So something like, 1 second. So something like this, new database pivot, yes. So are you all able to see my screen? So this is just an example. This is how you'll do the outline structuring of the dashboard that you'll make. Okay. So where will you put a chart of what data? Where will you put text? Will you put a pie chart like Atulya was saying, or should you use a column chart? And which data points where? That's what you'll have to do as first step. So that's what I want you all to do. And once you decide on this, then like he said, we'll put a pie chart of how many employees, I think he said, right? How many employees are there under each manager as a percentage. So then you'll have to cull out this data and put it on one screen. So something that I would have done here already is, yeah, so what I was trying to do was I'll have one graph which will show the number of employees under each manager and the tenure of employees under each manager. So what I have created here is I've made a pivot and I've used average months with current manager. And this is count of E-code. What will count of E-code give me? Count of employee code at a manager level will give me what?
Number of
manager.
Number of employees. So this will show me under Amar how many employees are there, right? And this field will show me what is their average tenure with this manager, which means with Amar, people on an average are for 55 months, right? With Rakesh, employees are for 93 months on an average, but there has been only one employee, right? So this I have drawn on a combo chart like this. And then because there was an ask of putting department, I put a slicer of department. So now I can choose, for example, human resources, R&D. Can you see all the data changing? Sales and so on, right? So this can be one chart for me. Now I will do another chart, but I will have to use the same slicer, right? So how do I link two charts with the same slicer? Do you all remember? You will need that for dashboards because you will select department only one place. No, you will not put 5 department slicers. Yes, how do you do it? You will have to do this exercise. Huh? So under slicer, you'll go to report connections. You can connect to 3 different pivot tables. So they'll all change when you click on one slicer value. Is that clear? And that's how you're going to frame different charts with the same slicer. Because you will not have 2 slicers of department. You will have 1 slicer of department only, right? Okay, have I done anything else also? No. Yeah, so this is how you'll make your dashboard. Now, one important thing which I need to tell you guys is okay, any questions so far? Can you make a dashboard now? Everybody's gone for dinner. There is anybody here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm happy.
Yeah, here, ma'am.
Just wanted to show you all what Sakshi was asking. We had done it in session 4, I think. Yeah, I think you. So this is what Sakshi was asking me, right? How to make this gauge chart, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So for this, what you'll have to do, and I will want you to do it, Sakshi, because only then you'll learn it, okay? You'll have to create 2 types of charts. One which is this piece, okay? And one which is this arrow which will be moving, okay? So if you can see here, these are 2 charts. Can you see?
Yes.
Okay, and what I have done is, for the first chart, I have actually gone and let me show it to you. Not area. I've actually turned this portion as white. This was a complete pie chart. Okay. How do I show you there? Can you see this?
Yes.
So that's what I have done. And this sheet which I'm showing you is already shared with you, I think, class 5 ka.
Yes, ma'am.
So in this, I've done this portion as white. In this also, this is a pie where I've made all this as white. So it's not that there are no 3 sections. This also ideally had the same 3 sections as this with different colors. I've changed it to white. Okay. And then I have put the angle of first slice as 270 degree. That's what I'm trying to start with. Okay, now with this clues, can you give it a try? You should be able to do it. And then I'm only overlapping these 2 charts. That's all that I'm doing. So give it a try, Sakshi. I'm sure you'll be able to do it because I see some need for you to learn at least. That is what will drive you to do it.
Yes, ma'am. I'll
Okay.
try it.
Try it out. Okay. Okay, so this database underscore pivot sheet, which I have already put in your share, I want you all to create the last dashboard as per the questions here. Okay. This will form your last dashboard, which will be a single sheet dashboard. All right, is that clear? And you will use different elements, including the slide bar that we saw today. So I want you to use slide bar. I want you to use charts. You can use tables, spark lines, all of that. But you'll have to work on your own because otherwise there's no point. Is that clear to all?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm done from my end, whatever I had to tell you all. Is there any question that anybody has? You will need a lot of more practice, please. Like you're seeing, even if you've done VLOOKUP once or twice, it doesn't help. There are a lot of times when you'll get stuck. So unless you practice it well, it will not work. And me showing it will not help you because that's like me helping myself, not you. You've seen, right? When you do it, there is an error. No value is showing up. We saw all those cases, right? You can use dependent drop downs also for dashboards if you want. I want you to really think and do the dashboard piece, and then you can submit your dashboards also. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Any other question? How has the session been? Have you all learned something? At least, if not
A lot of
everything.
ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
But I want you to practice, Rashi. It's easy. It's not difficult. It's all there with you. Practice more. I don't want you to ever fail in an interview with an Excel question for sure after this.
Sure, ma'am. I'll brush up everything.
Spend 2 days, at least the basic things that we have discussed, do it that. That is more than enough for you to clear interviews.
Hmm.
Okay? Try doing a dashboard. It will help you. Okay?
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for your
No problem.
time and
Thank you.
help.
Thank you. I thought this session was more required because I didn't want to really rush through by just showing you things. I wanted you to do it. So we have been able to spend a good amount of time in which you were doing and we were all seeing it together, which is what makes me happier. Because I think that's the best way to learn. Okay. Anybody else? Any comments? Atulya, how has it been for you? Atulya, you have practiced less. I want you to practice more.
Yes, ma'am, I will.
You can get very sharp at this, but you have to practice. You surely have the potential there. Okay. And actually, Excel automations are very good for people who are lazy because those are the people who find how to do it. If you're lazy, then you'll try to automate things. That's when you will learn more Excel. All right. Okay. Anything from Anushka, Sakshi?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I do learn a lot of things in Excel, and today's session was very much useful for me, especially because I am not aware of that key. We can use a scroll bar in Excel too. So it's a new learning for me too. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Please try that gauge chart also. You will find it very interesting the way it works. Okay.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I've got to learn a lot. Practice also, but unfortunately, I felt sick in between, so I had
No
to miss
problem,
the
Sakshi.
class.
Just go through the recordings, and if you have a doubt, you can
Yeah.
always reach out to me.
Sure, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Anushka, anything? Anushka, you've been a great source of help to everybody, I think. A lot of things that you have been trying. So I'm happy you have practiced a lot. If you go by that,
Thank you, ma'am.
I think just go ahead with the same amount of practice for at least another 2 weeks. Try and spend at least 2 hours on Excel doing something. Okay. You will learn more. All right.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes.
Okay. With that, we'll end the session. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you,
Bye
ma'am.
bye and
Thank
good
you,
night.
ma'am. Good night.
Good night. Good night, everyone. Bye.
Good night,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye.